So historically, Bangladesh has been going through such kind of turmoils earlier. I mean, we have our first president and also first prime minister, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, was assassinated in 1975. So 1975 was a huge, I mean, hugely important in terms of political crisis or violence in Bangladesh. And then we had another spell of violence in 1981 after the killing of the General Ziaur Rahman, the president of Bangladesh. So, and then anti-Ershad, anti-autocracy movement from 1982 to 1990 also witnessed the political impasse, political crisis and violence. And so we have been going through these turmoils and political chaos in the history on several occasions. But this time we could see the political impasse which is focused on holding of the elections, 10th general elections in Bangladesh. And this election is important for the major political parties, particularly the ruling called as the Grand Alliance Mahajut government, and also the opposition, which was trying to come power, because in the last election they were in fact overthrown by by the electorate. They basically rejected by the people in a big margin. So the government was formed in 2009 January with a huge mandate from the people. But gradually we have seen that political landscape in Bangladesh has changed, and mostly on the question of the evolution of the system, which actually played an important role for electoral process, that is the caretaker government system. So when the system was abolished in 2011, this was protested by the opposition parties, and this actually changed the election process. And where we see the opposition parties, they expressed their doubt about fair and neutrality of the process that actually be the reality in the next election. So they have the fear of kind of election manipulation, and the fear of having a situation where they may find that they would be in a situation where they will be undermined, and there will be use of government machineries against them. So there's a fear. On the other hand, we have the constitution with amendment, and this came with a very in a legal way, and the government with 3/4 majority of parliament members in the national legislature, they went to change the constitution, and this has been also backed by the Supreme Court of Bangladesh. So the government has a position which is justified by the constitution, justified by the verdict of the Supreme Court. So they think that election should be held under the present constitutional provisions, and opposition is creating pressure to bring back the caretaker system. So this has created the impasse, this has created the crisis, and we have already seen several days of strikes, killings of people, and the political violence, which is more or less part of our polity for many years. It has been increased greatly. So at this moment, what we can say that all things have been zeroed down on the issue of holding the general election. What will be the arrangement? What will be the system? Will it be the caretaker system, or will it be the system that we have now, that is the party government will run the election? In the meantime, we have seen some developments. Particularly, ruling party has proposed to form an interim government, where opposition can have some role in conducting the elections, which is not in fact uh, expected when Constitution was amended in 2011. So now the government has conceded to some extent by creating a kind of all-party or interim government, where it can help to allay to pacify the opposition. The opposition has not accepted it, particularly the main opposition party has rejected the offer to be part of the government. So we could see the stalemate is continuing. And since we have the obligation to hold the elections in 90 days and basically before January 24, 2014, so we could see more actions or initiatives from the different groups in Bangladesh, particularly business community and different groups in the civil society. They are also creating pressure on the government and the donor community, diplomatic community is also playing a role, particularly convincing the main parties to agree with the solution. So what we feel that to overcome the crisis, ideally speaking, it is only the dialogue that can help them, because both the parties, the main parties, they have not yet started even talking to each other to iron out, to deal with the disagreements they have. So we could see there is a tendency to take this the whole issue of holding elections under the environment as a zero-sum game, as a win-lose reality. I mean, both parties are trying to take the high stakes, high risks in sticking to their own position, and it's a very positional situation we could see, and these are not helping to have peaceful and credible general elections. That we have to do it, because there is no alternative elections in Bangladesh, and we have seen that particularly since 1991 we have observed 4 elections, and there's a brief rule by the military-backed caretaker regime which came in a very extraordinary situation, but generally election has become an accepted norm, accepted principle for the transition of one government to another government. So I think the dialogue between the main political parties and also creating pressure on these political parties, because they behave in a way, I mean, which actually create more confrontation in their behavior. So they need to show more commitment to democracy, more commitment to even electoral process, because elections should be held under a system where they can accept, because they cannot take the position that if the opponent doesn't accept our position, we will not accept their position. So it's something that they need to come out, they need to abandon, and they need to concede and find a solution, which is not very difficult to do, because since 1991 no elections were held under a party government. We don't know what will really happen, because this one-party government or this interim government is also a new experiment. If it is the system that, under which election will be held. So there is a lot to see actually. We are, I mean, particularly political parties are acting on suspicion, acting on their perceived manipulation, vote rigging. So we don't know exactly, because the situation is not like in 1980s. It is not like just parties dictating everything. I mean, now we have media, we have different watchdogs and different safeguards to see the election process. So I think political parties are showing intransigence, and they need to come forward through dialogue, and dialogue should resolve that.